to move on to the trickier one, part 3 one, where you get more questions related to the topic and you need to really extend your answers.
Now, in the final 5 minutes of this test, I'd like to ask you some more general questions that are related to this. Let's talk about past events in general. Do you think photographs are the best way to record and remember special events in our lives?
That's a really good question, and I mean, of course, photos are a part of our lives now in a way that was not possible in other eras. I read the other day that more photos are taken now than ever before, and I mean, millions or maybe billions of photos every day. It's as if we have to take a photo to prove that something happened. I can understand that. I mean, I think that people want to remember special events and even everyday things too. And personally, I love taking photos when I go places and see my friends. And I also love looking at old photos. I think they can provide an insight into the past as well.
An insight into the past.
And also at the beginning, he said, well, that's an interesting question.
Yes.
He didn't sort of freeze. He didn't say, what do you mean? He said, well, that's an interesting question. And also he used the word, he said, maybe in other eras, meaning, time gone by before we had mobile phones and all the 4G technology, when of course people would have relied very much on photographs. I think the other thing that is worth mentioning is his body language. I know, like we said before, you can't teach confidence, you can't really teach body language, but he acknowledged, when she says things, he acknowledges them and takes time to pause if he needs it. And I think that's really important.
Right. Something else people need to be aware of in part 3 specifically is knowing how to extend your answers. Because with part 2, you've already spoken about the topic from your own point of view, but this time it's taken a different route and you're speaking from a general perspective, but you're including your opinion as well. So what kind of phrases would you use to express your opinion?
Well, I mean, certainly there's nothing wrong with saying I think, and then as an alternative to I think, you can say I found, in my opinion, in my experience, it seems to me, expressions like that.
Yes. So you guys really need to express your opinion in part 3, and using variety of language is very important here as well. Okay, we're going to continue watching another part of the speaking and see what else he did well.
Why do you think that?
I think that they can be very powerful and remind us of special places and people, and even remind us what we were doing this day or how we can be feeling in this moment. They are also a record of our lives visually, and for example, photos of you as a baby and then as a child, and I think it's an incredible thing, like a diary. I think it can act as a trigger for memory as well.
What about written records? Can they also encourage us to remember past events?
Written records? By written records, do you mean writing things down like diaries or letters?
Yes.
So visually, that's a good word. Trigger.
Yes.
That's a good word.
That's a great one.
And then when she asks, what I think is the third question, he says, oh, do you mean things like diaries? So he's not, afraid in any way to ask her to clarify. And if people don't understand what the question is, they should say, oh, can I just be clear what it is that you're asking?
Yes. So it's okay to clarify. This is actually a speaking skill that you need to have, and you need to show the examiner as well, instead of just sitting like that and thinking, I don't understand.
That's right. Yeah. And clearly, I think, again, I'm focusing a bit on the body language, but he's clearly concentrating on what she's saying.
Yeah.
And he's clearly, taking the whole process seriously, not to suggest that people don't, but he's really making sure that he presents himself at his best.
That's true.
Come to the IELTS